Hey there, it's Brian here, and this video is for sales leaders, whether you're a business owner or a sales manager. If you're running a sales team, you'll be interested in what I have to cover here, especially if you find yourself in a situation where you're getting towards the end of the sales year. Let's say there's a quarter to go, and you've got some individuals on your team who are nearly there. Let's say they're at 80% of target, as an example, and maybe you've got others that have struggled throughout the year, and perhaps let's say they're at 40% of target. Where do you put your efforts? Assuming you've only so much time to deal with the individuals and obviously all the business management stuff you've got to do. You've only got so much bandwidth. Where do you put your effort? Do you focus on getting those ones that are close over the line, or do you focus on those that are struggling to really sort of help them get closer or to target if you can? So I was having a conversation about this with somebody this morning, and hence this the catalyst for this video today, because I run these free strategy sessions, about 45 minutes, where we just talk around some of the challenges you might be facing as a sales manager or sales leader, and look at what we can do to help you improve the situation. And this is common, as I said, and something that somebody was struggled with, this dilemma. So I said, well, let's just look at the numbers. So I'll base it on just two individuals. All right, let's just say you've got one at 80% and one individual at 40%. Right. What happens if, depending where you focus your effort? So if somebody's at 80%, to get them to, so let's say their target is 100K. All right, so they're on 80K, and just some nominal numbers just to put some context around this. To get them to 100K and hit their quota, they'd obviously have to do 25% more than they've done up to this point. So 25% of 80 is obviously 20. So 80 plus 20 is 100. I trust that makes sense. So they've got to do 25% more. All right. So we could focus on helping them get that extra 25% of business in the last quarter. Or we could focus on our weaker team members, all right, who just as much deserve your help and support and coaching. So let's say we put the same amount of time and effort into them, and they see a 25% increase in their sales results. But for them at 40%, which is 40K, if we're using the 100K as the target in this example, a 25% improvement is 10K. So they only get to 50 anyway with the same amount of effort and support from you, and obviously still miss target. And actually it's only half the volume of actual revenue compared to working on somebody who's closer to quota attainment. So when you look at it like that, it kind of seems obvious that actually you probably should put your effort into the better performers. You've got a better win probability of getting some of them over the line. Because if you focus on the weaker team members, there's a chance that the neglect that you might put in with your 80%ers, to get them that extra 20%. If you neglect them, maybe they fall short anyway, without your help and support and in the last kind of dying months and weeks of the sales year. So when you look at it in that sense, you sort of think, right, effort needs to go into your top performers. But here's the dilemma. Don't you have a moral obligation to still help your poor performers? You can't just neglect them. And if you neglect them and they don't hit target anyway, the chances are they're going to end up in the next quarter on a PIP of some sort, a performance improvement plan. So now you're actually forced to put all your effort into them next year and neglect your higher performers quite often. And when I say, I know it's not as black and white as that, but so when I say kind of neglect one or the other, I'm just saying if you've got the same amount of kind of time and bandwidth to be able to put into supporting your team, where is the best place to put it? So this was the challenge and this individual was facing, and the question they were asking me really is, what do I do? Where do I focus my time and effort? So logically, as I said, you put your effort into your top performers. You've got a greater chance of getting some of them over the line, and maybe even getting them into accelerators and things like that. And you're seen to be of a success. But what do you do with your poor performers? And this was the conversation we had, and it was, well, why don't you outsource the coaching of your poor performers to me? Because part of the RepRescue system isn't just about poor performers. It works with high performers as well. So I said, look, I'll give you the all the playbooks to help you get those individuals over the line. So that significantly increases the win probability, getting to some accelerators and all that sort of stuff of your higher performers. And I'll focus on your weaker performers. And there's a number of benefits of doing that. Obviously, your higher performers still get the love from you personally, and you can probably really help them get over the line because you've done it often in the past. And I'll work with your weaker team members who still now getting the love that they need, who are actually now working with somebody who's external and therefore doesn't have the same kind of what's the right word? Power. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to say, I'm not their manager. That's what I'm trying to say. And therefore, there's not the same level of intensity sometimes in the relationship. They might be more open to being open with me and tell me things of struggles that they're facing or whatever that they don't want to tell their manager because they might see it as weakness. Whereas I'm their coach, I'm there to help. So it just creates a different dynamic is the point I'm trying to make here, whereby those individuals actually respond much better to external coaching than if it is from their direct manager, because they just see it as a little bit less threatening. They see it as a little bit less judgmental. That's kind of the phrase I was looking for earlier, that you're looking for evidence perhaps to exit them from the business or whatever. So they're not as honest and open with you. The communication with you is never as effective. So that was what we're talking about now, is giving them the playbooks to help his high performers, and I'll use the RepRescue Playbook system to work with his weaker performers. Now, as we go into next year, it doesn't guarantee that they'll obviously hit target. I'm not promising that I'll be able to take them from 40 to 100% in a quarter. But if we can see a significant improvement, one, their whole skill set and competency is improved, which will then go on into the next year and compound over time, whether I coach them continuously or not. The fact they're now better means they need less time from the manager, so perhaps they can take over as the coach in that situation and work with that individual or individuals more effectively. They've got somebody now who is performing at a significantly higher level. So that was actually the outcome we thought was going to be the best in a situation like that, because it is challenging. I understand as a business owner or as a sales manager, you've got a whole host of other things. I mean, there's two elements really to your job, isn't there? There's the business management and there's the people management. So you've still got to do all the business stuff. You've still got to do all the reporting and manage the CRM and work with product line, or work with your marketing to be more effective on lead generation, whatever it might be, for the team. But you can't neglect the people. But as you've seen, actually, where you focus your effort can make a significant difference. So it is a dilemma. So what would you do in that situation is a question I guess I'd be interested to hear. You could leave your comments in the comment box wherever you're watching this video. And let me know your thoughts on that. Or if you want some help, if you find yourself in a situation like that and you'd be interested in how I could help you coach perhaps some of your individuals, then just reach out to me. Just leave a comment or DM me wherever you're watching this. Or if you'd like one of my strategy sessions, they're totally free of charge, and we can get on a call. I'll also put the calendar link in the comments or notes, the caption for this video wherever you're watching it, and you can book a slot like that for me if you find yourself in any kind of situation where you're trying to get some clarity. I do those for free. If you're skeptical and go, oh yeah, what's the catch? You'll just try and sell me something. No, but there are typically three outcomes. One, you take something away that you can implement and you see a significant improvement in your team's performance, and hopefully from that you would just give me a testimonial. That is of value to me, and I can use it as my marketing, within my marketing. Secondly, if it works for you and you meet somebody who's in a similar situation, you might refer them to me. That happens on a regular basis as well. Or thirdly, you may go, this is great, and like somebody this morning, how can you help me in this situation? And maybe you do become a client and we do work together. And that's fine too. But there's no obligation, there's no hard sales pitch or anything like that. If I can help you, I will. If I can give you some guidance that you take away and implement, I will. That's all we do. So if that sounds of interest, feel free just to click the link, get on my calendar. You'll see some slot availability over the next few days. And Hopefully, if they're not full. If they are full, just come back tomorrow and try again, because it's just like a rolling calendar. And let's just have a chat and see how I may be able to help you. But hopefully you found that interesting. Again, got you thinking, if you find yourself in a similar situation, about maybe what might be the best way to fix it, or at least in the short term, and where the focus is probably worth putting in that situation where you've got this disparity in performance. So, with that said, I'm Brian Conway. Thanks for your time today. Hope you found that useful. Love to hear your comments. As I said, please do give me your thoughts on this situation, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.